Oh, the macaques are here. Yeah, you see the macaques grooming there? So cute.
Is it a parent and child?
It could be. But I think maybe this adult is also pregnant at the moment.
Oh, wow.
So for the langurs, usually we would have to look high up, from about 7 meters to 12 meters above the ground.
So Dr. Ang, talk of the town, in fact for the whole world now, is climate change. So how do you interest people in talking about primate conservation specifically?
Primates, for one, they can be seed dispersals, meaning that they ingest the fruits and then the seeds are actually being deposited through their feces into different parts of the forest. So it actually helps with the forest regeneration and the ecosystem health. That is a direct contribution in order to mitigate that climate crisis. Providing that healthy ecosystem in the forest. If you want to restore the habitat, you need to have its inhabitants in order to preserve it for the long term. You can plant the trees, but the trees will not survive if it doesn't have the seed dispersals or the other components of the ecosystem.
And in Singapore, there's been a few instances in the past where conservation clashed with development. For example, in housing development in Tengah, in Dover. Just wondering, what do you think are the lessons we can draw from these past instances that can guide future development?
Engaging with the community is very important. These engagements should happen early on. Without proper planning yet, we should already have engagement with the community, with different stakeholders, rather than say, we already have a mind map of how many units of HDB we already want, when the project needs to end, because at that time, there might not be sufficient runway in order to make meaningful changes.
And what role do you see the Jane Goodall Institute Singapore playing in the conservation scene in Singapore?
So I think for the Jane Goodall Institute, and also because of the beliefs of our founder, Dr. Jane Goodall, we believe in sharing information, educating the general public, and especially from a very young age. One of the biggest challenges is to change perceptions. You're going to meet people who don't share the same opinions or thoughts as you, or don't believe in what you're saying. So rather than me telling you that cutting down the forest is really wrong, but more I will share with you, right? So say what happened was that that forest was gone, which was the habitat of the animals. And what I've observed is that the mom was trying to bring that baby langur, right, to cross the road, but unfortunately because there was no connectivity, it was run down by a car. And that was an individual we have been following for 2 years. So the behaviors that we have shared, the stories that we can share, and then touch their hearts. Then they can make the decisions themselves whether they want to continue to do what they have been doing or maybe change to something else.